So, how did my community come to what it is now? I will say this. My growth was not like a sudden thing. My growth was very slow. But I'm thankful for it. I'm very thankful for it because it made me closer to my community in a way. It gave me the chance to kind of like get used to streaming, get more comfortable, and get to know people, right? I started streaming, but I didn't have a VTuber model or anything like that, I think, in like 2022, I think. And I did that for like a half a year or whatever, maybe. I can't remember. The time's all over the place, right? I did that for a little bit, then I stopped, and then some things happened, and I was pretty lonely. A lot of my friends were going on their own different places and stuff like that. And I needed something to do. I had nothing to do. So I started streaming again. Now, I didn't become a VTuber immediately. That was something that was it just kind of happened. And it was very slow. The only people that watched my stream were my parents, people I begged to watch my streams, like my close friends, and my mod. And that was the only people that watched my streams in the beginning. I had nothing. I did not have like any presence online. I didn't have like my Twitter was like, there was nothing there. It was like I had nothing on my YouTube channel. It was virtually nothing, right? And before this on YouTube, I was doing Let's Plays, which some are still on my channel. If you're gonna go watch those. So I met Ellie along the process. I met a lot of people. I met like Sushi. I met Lollydoo. I met Keel. I met Ava. I met Strawberry Milky Milk. I met a lot of different people throughout this, right? And you know, we were all very, very small. I think I was averaging about maybe 10. If I was lucky, it was a 15 day, right? That was big numbers for me. Ellie was averaging about like 30 or 40, I think. And so I met Ellie as well. Ellie and I became friends, and then I met Shumimi, and then we all kind of became like a group and stuff like that. So I would say my growth was trickled down economics, right? and the broadest of words is that I was hanging out with Ellie after the Vettel raid, right? I was supporting Ellie. Ellie's already said this on stream that after the Vettel raid, she was like freaking the fuck out. And I was the only one that was kind of like, not the only one, but I was someone that reached out and I was like, yo, I get it's a big thing and that's kind of cool, but are you okay? Are you chill? You know what I mean? And she was like, no, I'm, nervous or whatever. And I was like, yo, would it help if I was on stream with you the next stream? Would it make you feel comfortable, right? And she was like, yeah. So I hung out with Ellie, and I would say a lot of my growth came from Ellie. I owe a lot to my friends. When I say that, I really mean that. Like, I owe a lot to my friends. Without them, I don't think people would even know who I am still. I still wouldn't, I don't know. So I'm very, very grateful for them for allowing me to hang out with them. I don't know why I said allowing me to hang out with them. I feel like that's kind of silly to say, but including me and, bringing me along with them. So it was a very slow start. And even then, after that, my highest peak is that Vettel raided me one time. And that was cool. I did a whole thing where like I screamed and lost my voice. My model stopped working. Classic when something cool happens with Bo. His stuff breaks. Vettel raided me at one point, and we had a back and forth, and that was kind of fun. But not a lot of people stayed. Other people stayed. I had 200 people, but I lost them the next day because all I did was look at anime wrapped cars for like 3 hours straight, and I think they were like, what the fuck is going on? This guy is not as hype as he was when we raided into him. Why is he just... He's just looking at anime cars and going, that's cool. And so a lot of them left. I really should have carried the momentum, to be honest. Looking back on it, I should have carried the momentum just a little bit. Just a little bit more. Maybe put a little bit more effort in next time, Bo. Maybe try to do something a little crazy, a little wacky, right? Now I'm just going to react to anime wrapped cars. So very cool in that part. So that was the highest. My highest was 200. That was how many people came, right? Those are cool cars. I thought they were too, right? But I get it. It was kind of boring, all right? I'll be the first to say it. I get it. It was kind of boring, right? So the stream after that, I had about 90 people, and I think that was about my average for a while. What happened, and this is very demoralizing, this does happen sometimes from what I've heard. Some people were staying for a while, and then what happened is that it was at 90, and I was very close to 100, and my goal at the time was to hit 100 viewers. That was like my consistent thing that I really, really wanted, was 100 viewers. That was my big, big deal. Right? What happened is that I don't know what went down, what happened or whatever. I lost like 30 or 40 people just suddenly. Like they just stopped watching. So I was so close to my goal for that year, and they just vanished. I still don't know what happened. I don't know if it was my stream just wasn't like, they gave me a chance and like, she's boring or whatever, right? Something happened. I still don't know why. And I went down to like 50 or 60 average, right? Not bad. 50 and 60 average is not bad at all for me, right? I'm again, let me clarify this in saying that 50 and 60, that was still better than what it used to be. So I was still happy to that extent, but it did feel bad. It felt like I was so close to a goal and it got taken away from me, which I'm not entitled to it by any means. You know what I mean? It happens. That's the nature of the beast, right? But I did feel pretty bad about it, I'll admit. And I didn't know why. And I was like, well, all these people followed me and they're not really, I guess they're not really showing up, and like maybe my content's not funny enough, maybe I'm not funny enough. I didn't know. I did not know, right? So it was like that for a while. I would say that was kind of my consistent was about 60 or 80 people. And I was pretty sure we weren't going to hit the 100-person milestone, the 100-viewer milestone. And, you know, I being a mama's boy, I talked to my mom about it, and I was pretty upset, you know, and I was like, maybe streaming isn't for me, you know what I mean? Like, maybe I don't got guts for it, you know what I mean? You're not cut out for it, kid. Give up, you know, kind of thing. But I was also kind of going through something at the time as well, so I was, you know, I was a little emotional, right? Yeah, I was like, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. The community was already pretty solid at that point. To answer the original thing about the community, right? The community at this point was pretty solid because there were some genuine bozos that, like, no matter what went on, they would always be here. Which there's nothing wrong, which I understand completely that, like, people have their favorites. Like, you know, like, I expect, like, when Cerber or Ellie or them go live, people are gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna go watch them, right? I joke about it, but I get it. You know what I mean? Everyone has their favorite character or every favorite VTuber and stuff, and it doesn't bother me. It's like, I get it, right? But there were a set of bozos that it didn't matter who was live, they would be like, I'm fucking there, right? And on days that was busy, I'd have maybe about 20, 30, or 40 people, right? But on some days when it was at that low point, I had only about 60, I would lose another 30 if other people were live, right? Which I get, again, I get. 100% I get. So I had those select bozos that were like, this was even before the word bozo was like even a thing, before we even had like a mascot. These were just people that were like, I don't fucking know. I just like watching Bo. Fuck it, we ball, right? And so I think from that, my community became very solid. Yeah, we ball till we fall, right? And, you know, I think that's really important to have. I really do. I think there is nothing wrong with overnight success or anything like that, because I think that it works wonders. I mean, there's plenty of people who have overnight success, right? But to have a community feel as welcoming and like having it all under wraps, it takes a little bit of time after that overnight success. And I feel like the bozos wouldn't be as close, and you guys wouldn't get my humor, and you guys wouldn't be as like respectful toward me if it wasn't for the fact that we kind of grew up together, right? So what happened is that I was averaging about 60, 70, maybe. Lucky days, I'd have about 100 possibly, you know, I'd have it, but then it'd kind of go away. My goal for the end of the year from last year was 100 viewers. I wanted to have consistently 100 viewers. When I turned on stream, the first thing that happened was that my viewer numbers kind of went up to 100 people. That was my goal. I was like, I want that at the very least, because then I would feel fucking great, right? So what happened is it was the bozos, the dedicated fandom, the people that were here for me, really rallied together, and of course my friend stuff as well, put me in the Hidden Gem Award. And it was a very flattering moment. It really was. I'll admit it. I'll say I'll be the bigger man. I cried when I first heard the announcement. It made me cry a little bit, because it made me realize that I am actually loved. Like, you know what I mean? I know that sounds weird, because I shouldn't think about my being loved from like validation from like online, because that's not healthy. But it was more so of like, oh shit, people fuck with me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's more like what I'm like, oh shit, people actually fuck with me. That's more what I was talking about. Not being loved. It's like, oh hell yeah, right? That's what it was. So it was the bozos being like, yo, Hidden Gem Award, Bo. And they went to the Code Bugs. They went to the Swarm. They went to the Amino ones, the Minions. They reached out to a lot of different people. Camila learned of me from it, I'm pretty sure, which is fucking crazy. I think Lena learned about me. Cinder knows about me now. A lot of people learned about me from it. And it's because the bozos rallied together and was like, I want to give this guy a spotlight, right? So yeah, it was crazy. It's good growth. Yeah, it is. It was a fantastic growth. And I will say, after the VTuber Awards, this is when we started hitting 100 average. Like, the VTuber Awards not only pushed me over my original goal of wanting to hit over 100 consistent viewers every time I went live, it's brought me closer to getting to 200 as well, which is fucking crazy, because I set that goal at the start of this year. So insane. It may be a little parasocial, but I do think the core bozos who are here day in and day out on Discord, etc., I do think that it's more than just a random viewers from the internet. I think there's shared history there, and that history is not parasocial, actually a community. I think so too. Yeah, I think so too. So, long-winded way of answering your question about a community. I'm sorry I went on a whole fucking biography about my life. But yeah, I think that was the thing that, you know, it was the community, it was my friends cheering me on, you know, and it comes naturally. I think that overnight success is a thing that can happen, and I think that it's great, you know, and I think that people can maintain it and learn how to hold on to it and stuff like that, right? But I think that the steady growth is good. And so for people that are starting out, if you're worried and you're like, man, no one's watching, I think my dad told me something about VTubing that I think I carried all the way in, right? And it also helped me when I was through that rough patch, right? The only way I will not make whatever dream I have involving being a streamer is if I give up. Because the moment I give up, that's the moment it will never actually happen. But as long as I keep pushing forward and I keep believing, it may not be this year, it may not be next year, it may not be the 3 years from now, it could be 10 years from now. As long as I don't give up, eventually something will happen that will take me to where I need to be. It's just the dedication, the perseverance, and the pushing forward even through the rough times. That's the thing that I carry with me. And I think that's true, because if I gave up during that rough spot, imagine, right? I wouldn't be where I am now, and I'd be kicking myself because I wouldn't have what I have now, right? So I think it's good. Like, I'm glad that I kept being like, no, don't give up on yourself. Don't say, it's not gonna happen. You don't have what it takes, right? That's the thing. It's just don't give up. You got to keep on pushing forward, even though there might be people that are saying, you'll never make it. You know, you should give up. I don't know. This is something I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to make people laugh and smile to some degree, and streaming is a great way to do it. And I have fun doing it. I met some fantastic people through it, people that I stay up and ruin my sleep schedule with. And so I'm grateful. I'm very, very grateful that I did. And I'm very grateful to be where I am now. So thank you guys. That's my long-winded TED talk about fucking growing a community. Like I said, the thing I really, really hope is that when people watch me, if they're having a rough day, they can go, I can put on Bo's stream. And at least at some point, I hope that there's a smile that creeps his way onto your face, right? I'm a very different vibe, I like to think. So I'm glad that I can still bring a smile, a laugh, everything like that. My chaos is funny, whatever it is. So yeah, thank you guys. I really do appreciate it. I hope that helped at all. I don't know. I know that was kind of like a tangent story about it all. Probably could have gave like a Cliff Notes version, but I do appreciate it. So thank you guys for hanging out with me. I'm happy to have you guys here. You guys are amazing.